Which is why the lowering of standards is so fucking dangerous. And when it's talked about, like the lowering of standards to make it fair for some applicants, like there's no fair in that job.
So Joe Rogan just exposed one of the most dangerous trends in modern military policy, the deliberate lowering of standards in our special forces. With tensions escalating globally and Iran becoming increasingly aggressive, this couldn't be more critical. Let's break down why elite military training is literally life or death.
Nor does the ocean give a fuck.
No.
Period.
No, I don't believe it does.
No, it does not give a fuck. But it's so weird when we try to apply these workplace equity considerations to something that's like literally. I can't think of a job that requires more of you than war. Like this is literal life or death and taking life. There's no job that requires more of you.
Absolutely right. Combat operations don't recognize diversity quotas or workplace equity policies. When Navy SEALs are conducting raids in hostile territory, the ocean doesn't care about feelings. It kills the unprepared. Physics and enemy bullets operate on merit alone, not good intentions.
And so you would just automatically assume the standards, especially for special operations guys, have to be the most stringent possible. You have to weed out all the bitches. Like, you can't have any bitch in you at all. There's got to be none. No quit, no nothing. And there's only one way to do that. You have to make a bunch of people quit.
The numbers prove this point brutally. Navy SEAL training has an 80% failure rate specifically because it must eliminate anyone who might crack under pressure. When you're facing Iranian Revolutionary Guards or Chinese Special Forces, there's zero margin for error.
You suffer enough. You suffer enough. So this book, the title is Drown Proof. And you were saying before we got started how many Navy SEALs wind up drowning. Yeah. And that it's actually kind of shocking.
This is actually shocking when you consider SEALs are among the world's most elite swimmers. If operators trained for water combat are still drowning, imagine what happens when training standards get watered down for political correctness.
It really is. Every time I go in the ocean and I swim in the ocean, there's this feeling like, I think I can make it to shore, but I might not be able to. Like if you jump off of a boat and you've got like a couple of 100 yards to shore, as you start swimming like, I'm fine. Oh boy, my heart is going pretty fast here. I'm breathing pretty heavy. That's a long way. I'm moving very slowly. Yeah. Like, what if I can't do this?
These are real positive thoughts to have mid-swim here, Joe.
Yeah. Not good. Not good. Yeah. It's only happened to me a few times, but...
Yeah.
That panic response happens even to experienced swimmers in calm conditions. Now imagine SEAL candidates in freezing surf, carrying equipment, under stress, with instructors deliberately trying to break them. The physical and mental demands are designed to be nearly impossible.
Because the training has to be so difficult that you get to the brink.
You have to train people for the job that they're going to be asked to do. And the training standards need to be a directly downstream reflection of what the career is going to be. And I don't have the vocabulary to describe how bad I feel for the families, and I'm not trying to minimize anybody's death, but you will lose more people in the real world execution of the job if you don't make training that difficult than you will by making it that dangerous, knowing that it's going to be that dangerous and that people will die. That will have a positive impact on people surviving the actual job itself.
Exactly. While we're focused on pronoun training and sensitivity workshops, China and Iran are drilling their special forces in pure combat effectiveness. Our enemies aren't lowering standards. They're raising them while we're distracted by social engineering.
You think they should hire somebody else to do that?
They do, but oftentimes you are in small units, very isolated by yourself, and so you still have to maintain, like even in the middle of nowhere, you're still going to have to maintain the paperwork aspect of all the stuff that you take with you.
God, that's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
That seems like an unnecessary distraction to an already very insanely difficult job.
I mean, I'm not saying we do the paperwork well. I mean, come on, Joe. There's a reason why the DOD has never passed an audit, but I mean...
Ever.
God. Think about this absurdity. Elite operators who should be focusing entirely on mission planning and combat skills are now required to attend diversity seminars. Meanwhile, Russian Spetsnaz and Chinese commandos are training 16 hours a day on weapons and tactics.
No, the Pentagon has never passed a full, clean, department-wide financial audit as of the latest audits. Defense Department is the only one of 24 major federal agencies that has never passed a full financial audit.
The Pentagon burns through $800 billion annually, but can't account for where the money goes. 7 failed audits while our Special Forces operators are buying their own gear from civilian retailers. These are completely backwards priorities during rising global tensions.
Well, that's been explained to me about budgets, that if you do not meet your budget, you get in trouble because then they can't ask for the same amount of money next year.
So I heard that every year that when I was in September was a fantastic month to be in the military because that's when because the budget year is October 1 to October 1. So September, the bean counters really start taking a look at what they have left. And they'd say, I was a supply rep for a short period of time, meaning I was a little cog in the wheel of supplying stuff to the guys. They're like, you need to spend $100,000 in the next 3 hours on shoes. Which, let me tell you, REI is happy to take your money. REI.com will run that card. And you always would hear this. If we don't spend it, we're going to lose it. But I never actually saw that tested. I don't know if you actually would get in trouble. They just always assumed that you would. So you ran that sucker down to bankrupt. And then October 1st, you're good to go.
Wow.
Yeah.
This perfectly illustrates the dysfunction. Elite Navy SEALs conducting missions against Iranian proxies have to shop at REI because military procurement is so broken. We're spending billions on bureaucracy while operators buy boots with their own credit cards.
And you're just ordering stuff from REI for real?
Sometimes, yeah.
Wow.
So not everybody, not everywhere. The conventional teams are very limited in their ability to do that. At a JSOC level, you have a little bit more room and flexibility to source from outside vendors.
So you would go for the best possible tool for the job.
100% of the time.
Yeah.
Yep.
Instead of just get military issue.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got the dumbest question for you about that.
While our operators are forced to crowdsource their equipment, Iran's Quds Force and China's PLA are being issued cutting-edge gear designed specifically for combat effectiveness. We're handicapping our best warriors with bureaucratic incompetence and misplaced spending priorities.
And this guy was shot and killed and medevaced out of there, or helicoptered out of there. And they're 12-foot giant, Tim Alberino.
And was he telling this story as if he was there, or he heard this?
There's never a guy who was there.
Damn it!
These stories. There's apparently one guy who has his face covered up in one of these videos that I watched. Is like one of the blurry, like a witness to a mob scene.
Yep.
And so
that's how you know they're legit.
100%. Thank you. I think the same way.
These Afghanistan stories show how unpredictable and dangerous real combat is. Yet somehow we think lowering physical and mental standards will improve outcomes. Our enemies are preparing for actual warfare while we're focused on social experiments.
I think because of what's going on in Iran, it'd be good to talk to you about this because you're a guy who kind of understands things in terms of like geopolitics more than the average person.
Listen, I can find Iran on a map, okay? That doesn't mean I understand geopolitics.
I know. You're you're humble, but
well, my operational experience was at a low meaning on there's strategic war,
right?
Operational war, but that's air I never was in the room for. I didn't breathe that air. I wasn't invited, rightfully so, to planning meetings where they were talking about the defense policy of the United States,
right?
Or going into a country. I was down hey, we found this dude. We know where he's at.
Go get him.
We can't figure out how to go get him. Why don't you guys go give it a little look-see? That was the level that I operated at.
Yeah.
With Iran now directly confronting U.S. forces and stealing military technology, every point about training standards becomes critical. When operators are deployed against battle-hardened Revolutionary Guards, there's no room for participants who barely met lowered requirements.
To detect heartbeats at great distance might work.
So I guess the Post didn't make it up. They were told by Trump.
Wow.
I don't know if everything he says is accurate. Just to throw that out there. So,
hey, who knows?
Gets a little loose and fast sometimes with the details in reality.
It's just crazy that that kind of technology is even being contemplated, that there might be a future where that exists.
Oh, that makes total sense.
Advanced technology like Ghost Armor requires operators with exceptional physical and mental capabilities to use effectively. You can't lower training standards and expect elite technology to compensate. Superior equipment still requires superior warriors to operate it.